This is probably not going to be a popular video. You're probably not going to like it. It's not going to get the traction that most of our videos normally get because it's not a fun topic. Drum roll, please. Budget, because who wants to talk about money, right? Unfortunately, it is a large part of the process when planning a renovation project. I'm in the speakeasy here, which we are currently in the middle of renovating, as you guys know. We decided that we were going to tackle the speakeasy project. We sat down, we set our budget, and we have stuck to our guns. And that is what is most important. I cannot stress to you enough when starting a project is knowing how much you are willing to spend. The spend will get away from you quicker than you would like for it to if you are not paying attention to your budget. I've compiled a list of notes here, some tips and tricks that we have gathered over the years of renovating project after project and room after room. These are just some things that we have figured out along the way about how to budget, how to plan for these projects, and I'm going to share them with you now. Number one is set a family meeting before you start. Sit down with everyone who's going to be involved in this project. In our case, it's usually Kenny and I. We sit down with a pen and a paper and we plan out the project. Exactly what we want to do with the project, what we hope to accomplish, and we plan the budget. It's most important to communicate throughout the project because if not, our marriage would honestly probably be in shambles. I'm just being real, guys. You need to make sure that you are running the project and not that the project is running you. Number two is break down your budget into 4 categories. And here are your 4 categories. Number one, construction materials. This is going to be anything construction related. Drywall, tile, flooring, paint, all falls under the construction materials category. Second category is appliances. This can be anything ranging from kitchen appliances like a microwave, oven, fridge. In a living room, it might look like a fireplace, an espresso machine, you name it. Number 3 is furniture. This can range from mattress, bed frame, dresser to couch, footstool, coffee table. You get the idea. All falls under the furniture category. Number 4 is decor or trinkets. Anything that falls under the decorating category. Picture frames on the wall, throw pillows on the couch, rug on the floor, bookends on the bookshelf. It is anything that you will use to decorate the room itself. Once you have broken down all of your 4 categories, I want you to set a budget for each of these 4 categories. And that is going to lead us into point number 3, which is to price source, price source, price source. If you don't know what price sourcing is or what it looks like, it's basically where you sit down and you gather prices. Whether that be on a website, you sit and you filter through all the construction materials you're going to need for the project and how much that's going to cost you. Or you go into the furniture store and you compile a list of furniture you're going to need and you write down that list and figure out the pricing for that. This is also a great time to piece together all of the pricing and figure out where you can save money. There might be some places where you can splurge a little bit, and then there might be some places where you want to kind of rein it back in and not spend as much. One really good rule of thumb that we try to adhere to is that the last 2 categories should never cost more than the first 2. This is kind of subjective to the project itself. We are typically building a room from the ground up. Obviously, our construction materials are more pricey. Each situation is going to be totally different. Some people might choose to splurge on the furniture category, and you might have something in mind that you've had your eye on. If you are just starting out, money is tight. You need to be focusing more on the first 2 categories, which are construction materials and appliances. Once you have those under your belt and you feel like you could spend a little bit more money, then you can move on to the other 2. When we first started out, we found our furniture sometimes on the side of the road. Coffee table is one that Kenny actually found on the side of the road. We still use to this day. That was a totally free refurbishment. We have done that countless times over the years. We've also shopped thrift stores and gotten things super cheap off of Facebook Marketplace. There are a world of options when it comes to budgeting, but furniture and decor should always come last in your budget when it comes down to actually getting the things done that you need done. As difficult as this next point is, it is crucial that you stick to it. The only budget item that you should fudge on is construction. Unfortunately, with the current economy and inflation and things and prices the way that they are, it can be difficult to budget ahead of time when construction prices, especially wood prices and paint prices, are fluctuating so drastically. That's why I always say to shoot your budget a little bit on the high side. Fall short, then you've saved money. That way you make sure you're covered. But the only line item that you should be fudging on is construction. Everything else should be staying within budget. You should know how much it costs. It should be a set in stone price. I'm going to be totally transparent with you here, and I'm going to share our budget for the speakeasy. But before I share it, I want to give a couple of disclaimers. This is one of the largest project budgets we've ever had, and that's because we have been saving for this project over the years. There were several spaces in this building that we knew for sure that we wanted to splurge a little bit on, and the speakeasy was one of those because it's our hangout spot at the end of a long day. Kenny and I have not really had a space to ourselves in the last 3 years that that we've been in the building. Privacy has been very limited, and so it would be nice for us to have a place to come at the end of a long day and just relax and enjoy ourselves, watch a movie, have a glass of wine, and that's exactly what the speakeasy is for us. That being said, our budget for this project was $5,000. Now, I have the breakdown here of what we've actually spent, and we're nowhere near that, okay? For construction materials, we have spent $1,357.43, so $1,357.43. Decor and trinkets, I have spent a total of $239.09. Altogether, we're at a budget of about $1,600 when we budgeted for $5,000. We do still need to purchase some larger ticket items. We need to find a sofa. We do need to find some cabinetry and some tile for our dry bar, but overall, we are still well within our budget and nowhere near maxing out. We should still come out on top a couple of $1,000 underneath what we originally planned, which is amazing. That's what we hope for. That's why I say to shoot your budget high, to plan to pay cash, not put it on a credit card. We are huge advocates of paying cash for each project. This is also why we never really want to take credit card payments from our clients when we remodel their homes, because we're just not comfortable putting someone into debt to remodel a room or a space in their home. It's never worth the debt that you're going to take on. Trust me, there are free upgrades that you can make to your home or near free upgrades versus totally overhauling a space and spending tons of money that you don't have. So always budget, and pay cash when you can. That is our top 2 tips. Now, I want to finish off with this. Make sure you keep track of your expenses. This is a huge one. You might think, oh, I'm not spent that much. I've only spent a couple $100. In reality, a little bit here, a little bit there, it starts to add up very quickly. So what I recommend is finding a budgeting app or using the Notes app in your phone. We use QuickBooks to keep track of our expenses, and that's how we make sure we're not going over budget. Also recommend it. It does require a subscription. If you're not wanting a subscription, the Notes app on your phone is great, or even just a pencil and paper. It's that simple. Also created a great tool for you guys that I think will be very helpful when budgeting for projects. As a budget planner, you can click the link in my bio and it should be there for you to download. It's going to have everything you need. It breaks it down into the 4 categories of construction materials, appliances, furniture, and decor. It helps you to budget for each specific part of the project as well as the full project. I hope that this video has been useful to you and that you can take it and use it to your benefit. I hope that this knowledge is powerful and that it helps to change the way that you approach projects going forward. I hope that you use the budget planner and that you tag us in your videos or you comment below if you do use it, because I want to see that. I want to see you guys tackling your projects head on with a strategy and a plan in place, because I believe the best progress and growth happens when we have a plan in place. I know that Kenny and I would have never made it through some of our earlier years and projects if we would not have had a plan, because we had zero budget. A lot of times our budget was very small, and that's okay. We were able to accomplish so much more than we ever dreamed of because we had a budget and a plan in mind. And I think that that has helped us to grow into who we are and to learn what we have along the way. Here's to budgets. May we make them, may we follow them, may we obey them as much as we hate them. I know that budgets aren't fun and they're not a fun topic. No one wants to talk about a budget. They are necessary, a necessary evil, unfortunately. I know this was a little bit out of the norm from what we normally create here at The Color of Our Home, but I wanted to share with you a little bit of the process, just be totally upfront with you about costs and what we spend and how we budget for our projects. Bye guys.